YouTube channel.
Tonight on Newswatch, breaking news out of the State House as lawmakers race against the clock to pass a state budget. Plus, the Supreme Court releases decisions affecting millions of Americans. And millions of Americans are under weather warnings as the 4th of July weekend begins. Newswatch starts right now. We are just 5.5 hours from the deadline to pass a state budget. Good evening, I'm Haley Hollinger and welcome to Newswatch. You are looking at the Ohio House as lawmakers race against the clock to pass the state budget. The state budget is what funds the state government and allocates money to government programs and agencies. The House Bill 33 Conference Committee met today to reach a compromise between the Ohio House, Senate, and Governor's office. Most of the provisions in the nearly $200 billion two-year budget made the cut, but a controversial change to higher education in the state from the Senate was cut. The Senate passed the budget 25-6. The House will vote on the budget any minute. Along with the budget, lawmakers passed a bill extending current spending till July 3rd. The extension gives Governor Mike DeWine time to examine the nearly 10,000-page document. Matt Borges will be spending the next 5 years in prison for his part in the Ohio nuclear bribery scandal. This sentencing comes just one day after former House Speaker Larry Householder was sentenced to 20 years for orchestrating the same scheme. A jury found Borges to be a participant in the $60 million bribery scheme between the First Energy Company in Akron and the Ohio legislator. Both men were convicted on racketeering charges in March. Though Borges says he's taking responsibility for his crimes, both Householder and Borges are expected to appeal their sentences. A bond is set for an Ohio teenager accused of murdering his ex-girlfriend at Myrtle Beach. 18-year-old Blake Linkus allegedly strangled 18-year-old Natalie Martin the day after an argument in a hotel room on June 7th. A $150,000 statutory bond was set for Linkus in his hearing yesterday by Judge Thomas Cooper Jr. When deciding on punishment, Cooper noted Linkus didn't have a criminal record and that he wasn't a flight risk. Linkus's bond also requires he stay on house arrest with his parents in Ohio until he's released. He will be monitored and will have a mental evaluation. West Virginia State Police are being accused of recording women outside of academies' showers and locker rooms. A civil lawsuit filed yesterday claims a video camera was hidden inside a women's locker and shower room. Attorney Teresa Torreseva filed the suit on behalf of her client, saying the department fostered a, quote, culture of misconduct toward women, end quote. Torreseva said she's also representing about 70 other women, including minors, who participated in a junior program at the academy. The allegations came to light after anonymous letters sent to the governor's office and other state officials accused police of widespread misconduct, including destroying the hidden camera and a hard drive that allegedly contained hours of video showing female students and troopers using the facilities. Historical rehabilitation projects in Ohio will receive support for 38 historic preservation projects from the state. Governor Mike DeWine said the state is expected to help revive the historic structures that can once again be a valuable part of the communities. The project, expected to rehabilitate 59 historic buildings, will leverage approximately $523 million in public and private investment. The projects are being awarded funding as part of the Ohio Historic Preservation Tax Credit Program. 16 communities across the state will be receiving awards administered by the Ohio Department of Development. Thousands of Taylor Swift fans are making their way to Cincinnati as the singer's much-anticipated tour stops in the Queen City. Only one city in Ohio was included in the Eras Tour, and Cincinnati fans will get to continue their love story with Taylor Swift. Swift opens the Cincinnati leg of her tour for tens of thousands of attendees tonight at Paycor Stadium. Fans already showed up yesterday to buy merchandise, waiting in lines for hours. The tour has already broken several records, including most concert tickets sold in a single day. And if you're worried about your Eras Tour show having bad air quality, Newswatch forecaster Emily Dietz is here to tell us if you can shake it off. Emily, how's the air quality?
Well, things are improving ever so slightly since we had some rain and wind moving in the area, fortunately. But still in Cincinnati, we're still seeing a little bit of bad air quality, and things are going to continue to go down as long as we have low pressure spinning up just in the North Great Lakes area. But right now here in Southeast Ohio, it's about 88 outside with partly cloudy skies. Like I said before, that haze is starting to lift up just a little bit, so we're still seeing air quality alerts in parts of Ohio, mainly central Ohio, and once again, southwest Ohio as well. But we had some wind and some rain coming in this morning that really pushed all of this smoky weather towards the east. So here's where that smoke is sort of sitting now, and we still have some low pressure just to the north of the Great Lakes, and that's going to continue to spin up this smoke and push it down towards us. But we have some wind expected for the rest of this week as well, coming in from the west, and that's just going to help drive a lot of that smoke away. So we're going to see some rainy weather these next couple of days. But we're also going to see a lighten up in the haze, which will be really quite nice for this holiday weekend. But we had a little bit of rain this morning around 7 or 8 in the morning. A quick downpour really made everything all hot and muggy outside, and now that cell is just sitting to the south near Virginia, South Carolina area. We have a little bit of rain and some clouds right behind it that we might expect to see later this evening. So if we might not see some rain, we're definitely going to see some cloudy skies, and there's even more rain following this low pressure system. And I'll talk more about that in my full forecast, so be sure to stay tuned for what to expect this 4th of July weekend. Back over to you.
Thanks, Emily. The Athens community came together today to celebrate the retirement of Athens Police Chief Tom Pyle. The party was held at the Athens Community Center, filled with former and current law enforcement officers, family members, and friends. Pyle is retiring after 34 years of serving the Athens community. People who worked with Pyle shared good memories and spoke about Pyle's dedication to serving the city of Athens. Pyle shares how thankful he is with the overwhelming amount of love and support that has been shown to him.
The city of Athens never once let me down on an obligation, not once. And I hope you feel the same way about me. So let's have some cake. I love you all. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you down the road.
The mayor of Athens proclaims June 30th, 2023 as Tom Pyle Day. Today marks Hugh Sherman's last day as Ohio University's president. Sherman completed his 2-year term presidency characterized by increasing admission numbers and long-term financial success. Sherman was appointed as the 22nd president after former President Nellis announced he would be stepping down. His replacement, President-elect Lori Stewart Gonzalez, will officially take office tomorrow. In a press release today, Gonzalez assured the Ohio University community that her doors are open and collaboration is her success strategy. If you still haven't made plans for 4th of July, look no further. There is plenty to do in the area to celebrate. First up, a 4th of July cattle weekend in Gloucester for those who love horses and cattle will be at Smoke Rise Ranch and Resort, and the event will close out Monday with a family fun show. Greenville also has some fun activities for the weekend. Their 4th of July celebration will include a weekend-long fair. And if all this freedom is making you hungry, you can head over to the Independence Day potluck in Chester Hill on Monday. Finally, you can finish off the holiday Tuesday night with the Thunder in the Valley Fireworks Spectacular in Nelsonville. If you are near a city with a fireworks show, they might dazzle you and the rest of the audience, but for many furry friends, they can be unbearable. According to Care Center Medical Director Dr. Rachel Haplin, some animals get so scared they run away. Haplin says to consult with your veterinarian before giving your pet any kind of medication during fireworks. Coming up after the break, the Supreme Court releases decisions on the President's Student Loan Relief Program and LGBTQ+ rights. Plus, millions of Americans are under a severe weather alert as the holiday weekend begins.
Hopefully all this rain this weekend won't put a damper on your 4th of July plans. We'll talk about more what to expect this weekend when Newswatch returns.
I'm Keira Knightley.
I've acted in a lot of films set in World War II, and yet I've never actually looked into what my own family went through.
How did they move that many people secretly?
Because Grandma Jan was good at her job.
Because Jan was good at her job.
Your grandfather, Mac, was involved in one of the most important opening campaigns of the war in Europe.
Enough to keep it lively.
Yeah, yeah, that's sort of...
The most amazing understatement I've ever heard.
My grandparents' war.
Friday at 9 on WOUB.
Welcome to the age of humans.
These guys didn't sprout wings, we brought them here.
Horses, they're not native.
They're not native.
Just got smacked by a car. We have one chance to stop that movement.
It is an integral part of our story.
Do you consider humans an invasive species?
It's absolutely the most invasive of all species.
Yeah.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
So much of our behavior is governed by our sense of time, yet questions about time's fundamental nature remain unanswered. On the Articulate Hour, artists and scholars discuss the tension between scientifically measured, socially constructed, and individually perceived time. Join us for the Articulate Hour.
Friday at 10 on WOUB.
This is the closest we'll get to an alien on Earth. Octopuses couldn't be more different from us, but is a connection possible?
You look at them and you feel like they're looking back. That's not an illusion. They are looking back.
One man will find out. He'll bring an octopus into his home and introduce her to the family.
Well, now she's filming me.
Hi, Heidi. Wednesday at 8 on WOUB.
Two rulings from the Supreme Court today bring major victories for conservatives and brings to an end a blockbuster session that will have consequences for years to come. Chris Wynn is in Washington with the latest.
The Supreme Court handing down a pair of key decisions Friday, ruling 6-3 to block President Joe Biden's plan to cancel an estimated $430 billion in student loan debt.
This relief was so needed, and I know that many people like me are really worried and concerned about their financial wellness and stability moving forward.
The decision is a huge blow to the administration, which aimed to deliver up to $20,000 of relief to millions of struggling borrowers. But the White House confirms the president will keep trying. In the same 6-3 split, the Supreme Court's conservative majority also ruled in favor of a Christian web designer refusing to create websites to celebrate same-sex weddings out of religious objections. The decision is rooted in freedom of speech protections, but critics say it will allow more businesses to discriminate against LGBTQ people.
This sweeping opinion promises to destabilize the public marketplace, enabling and encouraging all types of businesses, not just those who make websites, to have a First Amendment right to refuse customers because of who they are.
The blockbuster rulings follow a tumultuous term for the Roberts Court, which has been under a harsh spotlight over ethics and transparency amid reports about Justice Clarence Thomas's pattern of non-disclosures on financial reports.
If you lack legitimacy, people aren't going to listen to you, and then the decisions you issue don't really matter.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn.
President Biden is responding to the Supreme Court's decision. Biden said he was disappointed in the decision and squarely blamed Republicans. He says he is taking a, quote, new path to tackle student debt.
So we need to find a new way, and we're moving as fast as we can. First, I'm announcing today a new path consistent with today's ruling to provide student debt relief to as many borrowers as possible, as quickly as possible. We will ground this new approach in a different law than my original plan.
After the decision, the Biden administration took steps for a new approach to student loan debt relief. Those include the Secretary of Education initiating a rulemaking process for a new repayment plan, relying on different laws. The Department of Education is also starting a new repayment schedule that would start in October, which would protect certain borrowers who have missed payments. The Ohio Supreme Court is ordered to take another look at the legality of the state's congressional districts. after the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling in a North Carolina redistricting case. The U.S. Supreme Court set aside the Ohio court's ruling striking down the districts and told it to consider the case again in light of its recent decision. In its ruling in Moore v. Harper, the U.S. Supreme Court shot down an expansive version of the so-called independent state legislator, suggesting state legislatures have absolute power on federal election rules. The High Court instead said that state courts can continue to have a role in reviewing such cases.
Good evening, happy Friday. It is a hot, muggy, cloudy day down here in Southeast Ohio. Right now it's about 88 outside and we're seeing some cloudy skies. Now we're seeing a lot less haze in the area. We have air quality alerts for Central Ohio as well as Southwest Ohio. We had some rain and some wind move in earlier today that helped push a lot of that smoke out of the way. Now we still have this low pressure system spinning up, pulling all of the smoke down towards us. But that's going to be helped to be moved away from this low pressure system out to the west that's going to move through Ohio these next couple of days. Now this low pressure system is pretty extensive and it produced some rain for us this morning, and right now there's some clouds and a little bit of rain going on near Illinois, Indiana area, and that might be moving into Ohio tonight, so we might be seeing a little bit of cloud coverage going on tonight, possibly even some rain. But if you take a look out to the west, you see just all these clouds beginning to develop and form up, and a lot of this wind is going to continue to move in this track from the southwest over towards Ohio, and that's just going to keep producing rain throughout this weekend. Now, along with this rain, things are heating up. Right now, we're about 80, upper 80s, even into the 90s, but things are around 100 in the south and southern Great Plains, and you might be seeing a little bit of this heat move into Ohio. Now, the rain and the clouds will help keep things comfortable, but that heat index will still be pretty hot, so make sure you're drinking plenty of water these next couple of days. Tonight we'll see a 40% chance of showers possible. No thunderstorms, fortunately, with an overnight low of 67. And we're going to see a trend of overnights to be about in the mid to upper 60s and our daytime temperatures to be in the mid to upper 80s as well. And so tomorrow will be pretty similar to today with more rain on the way, 60% chance. Now tomorrow we're also going to be in a slight risk for some severe thunderstorms. Most of the rain will be in southern Indiana and southern Illinois as well, but that system might expand a little bit and just cut into Ohio. So definitely expect some rain for tomorrow, and that's going to be from this low pressure system that's sitting over us. And a better look at that right here, you see a lot of this rain that's just going to push right through Ohio. This high pressure is not really going to do anything for us. That's going to continue to push towards the east as we have this low pressure that's going to continue to move up towards the northeast, carrying a lot of rain with it, as there's a lot of moisture in the air, and when you have this cold front sitting with the warm air, it just allows for a lot of convection to happen. Now on Sunday, we're still going to see this cold front move through with that low pressure, and so that's going to produce even more rain, possibly some thunderstorms on Sunday. So that's going to be a pretty rainy day, and right behind it, that's going to carry on into Monday, since all of this rain and precipitation is just going to move right on through. So we're expecting to see a 90% chance of thunderstorms on Sunday. Hopefully we'll get a break during the day to enjoy some of those 4th of July festivities, but later this week we might see a little bit of a let up Tuesday afternoon into the evening. So if you have the day off and are planning on having a cookout, it might be nice by then. But we're still looking at rain in the future forecast later next week.
Thanks, Emily. Tens of millions of Americans are facing the threat of severe thunderstorms, potentially life-threatening, and air quality alerts as airport workers deal with what's predicted to be the busiest travel day on record. As we head into the 4th of July weekend, Ivan Rodriguez has the latest.
As life-threatening temperatures expand across the U.S., with more than 70 million people under excessive heat alerts, the threat of severe storms forecast over the next 3 days, and more than 500 wildfires raging across Canada, triggering air quality alerts for more than 100 million Americans. The TSA is predicting record-setting passenger volumes over the 4th of July weekend.
Friday is going to be our busiest day, both here and nationwide.
When we get the projections from the airlines and we understand better, we know what kind of staffing that we need.
Despite staffing preparations,
I was supposed to fly out Monday, but because of a storm, it was pushed off till today. So yeah, now's when I'm flying out.
So you didn't plan to travel when everyone else is traveling now?
No. So I guess we'll find out how it is.
Airline officials are urging travelers to give themselves plenty of time.
When you're looking at the times of day where we see those big travel rushes, we're looking in the morning, 5:30 to 8. Then we have a midday rush between 11:30 and 1, and then again 4:30 to 7 in the evening.
If you're hitting the highway, more affordable gas prices might lead to more traffic. AAA predicting a big increase in people driving to their destinations this holiday weekend.
Because gas prices are significantly below what they were last year, we're seeing prices that are more than $1 cheaper.
Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Ivan Rodriguez.
Speaking of low gas prices, AAA says prices at the pump have taken an unprecedented plunge just ahead of the 4th of July weekend. According to AAA, a gallon of regular now costs $3.55 on average. A year ago, it was at $4.87 a gallon. Analysts say the drop may be short-lived. However, the market is still weighing concerns over a possible recession and the war in Ukraine. Although gas will be cheaper, traffic may still be a challenge this holiday weekend. AAA says a record-setting 43.2 million Americans are expected on the roads. After the break, ways to protect yourself from rip currents while swimming. And stay up to date on the latest from Newswatch. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
I'm Keira Knightley.
I've acted in a lot of films set in World War II, and yet I've never actually looked into what my own family went through.
How did they move that many people secretly?
Because Grandma Jan was good at her job.
Because Jan was good at her job.
Your grandfather, Mac, was involved in one of the most important opening campaigns of the war in Europe.
Enough to keep it lively.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sort of
the most amazing understatement I've ever heard.
My Grandparents' War. Friday at 9 on WOUB.
So close, but so mysterious.
Venus, Earth's less fortunate twin. And today, a scorched hellscape. What went wrong? And are we next?
The sun dictates our fate.
The planet's inner worlds on Nova.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
Welcome to the age of humans.
These guys didn't sprout wings, we brought them here.
Horses, they're not native.
They're not native.
Just got smacked by a car.
We have one chance to stop that movement.
It is an integral part of our story.
Do you consider humans an invasive species?
It's absolutely the most invasive of all species.
Yeah.
Wednesday at 9 on WOUB.
It's been a dangerous summer so far in parts of the Gulf Coast, where rip currents have claimed the lives of nearly a dozen people in 2 weeks. As warnings go out to beachgoers about hazardous water conditions, experts say knowing what to do in this dangerous situation could save your life. Mandy Gaither has more.
Waves don't have to be large, and weather doesn't have to be bad for a dangerous rip current to form.
They can reach speeds of an Olympic swimmer. So, even if you are a very good swimmer, they could still cause you potential problems.
In the U.S. from 2013 to 2023, rip currents were the third leading cause of weather-related deaths, killing 71 people every year on average. That's more deadly than lightning, tornadoes, or hurricanes.
Because, they don't pull you under the water. That's kind of a common misconception. People think they kind of suck you under the water, but they don't. They just pull you away from shore.
If you're in the water and feel like you're getting farther away from the beach, experts say the first thing to do is not panic.
I know that sounds counterintuitive. People want to try to get back to shore, but you want to just relax and float.
Don't try to swim against the current. That may only lead to exhaustion. Instead, swim parallel to the beach until the ocean doesn't feel like it's got a pull on you. Then swim back to the shore at an angle, letting the waves push you back in.
Some people might not be strong swimmers or you might get tired and feel like you can't keep swimming. So if you can just float, stay on the surface of the water and look back to shore and call and wave for help, that'll give a chance for public safety personnel to come rescue you.
For Health Minute, I'm Andy Gaither.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says the #1 thing you can do to stay safe at the beach is swim near a lifeguard. When we return, a Mars rover finds a sweet treat on the Martian planet. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Next time on Antiques Roadshow, this is Eleanor. This is a ring with some pretty primates.
This is incredibly rare. I have never seen one like this. My other fellow appraisers have never seen one like this either. It's sort of the bee's knees.
Or the monkey's uncles.
Exactly.
What's this unusual ring worth? Find out next time on Antiques Roadshow from Tucson, Arizona.
Monday at 8 on WOUB.
I'm Keira Knightley. I've acted in a lot of films set in World War II, and yet I've never actually looked into what my own family went through.
How did they move that many people secretly?
Because Grandma Jan was good at her job.
Because Jan was good at her job.
Your grandfather, Mac, was involved in one of the most important opening campaigns of the war in Europe.
Enough to keep it lively.
Yeah, yeah, that's sort of...
The most amazing understatement I've ever heard.
My grandparents' war. Friday at 9 on WOUB.
This July 4th, join me, Alfonso Ribeiro, as I host America's National Independence Day celebration, A Capital 4. With Chicago, Boyz II Men, Belinda Carlisle, Renee Fleming, Babyface, Charles Eston, Muppets of Sesame Street, A Beautiful Noise, the Neil Diamond Musical, and the greatest live fireworks display in the USA. Live from the U.S. Capitol, it's A Capital 4. Premieres Tuesday, July 4th, 8, 7 Central on PBS, the PBS app, and PBS YouTube channel.
So close, but so mysterious.
Venus, Earth's less fortunate twin. And today, a scorched hellscape. What went wrong? And are we next?
The sun dictates our fate.
The planet's inner worlds on Nova.
Wednesday at 10 on WOUB.
Finally tonight, Mars has donuts? Well, it appears to have at least one, but not one any human would want to eat. An image captured by the Mars rover Perseverance shows this mysterious donut-shaped rock on the red planet's surface. The Mars Perseverance rover launched in July 2020. NASA says it continues to explore the planet's 28-mile-wide Jezero crater for signs of ancient microbial life. The donut is one of the latest objects captured by the Super Cam Remote Micro Imager, one of the rover's cameras helping scientists see what's on the planet's surface. Scientists have a few hypotheses as to where the rock came from. They say it could be a meteorite or it could be a rock that was brought to the area by a river channel. Would you eat a donut from Mars?
Maybe not that donut, but if it looked like Mars, then I feel like I could enjoy it real nicely. But yeah, we're expecting some more weather to come in tonight. We're looking at cloudy skies, at least a possible chance of showers with an overnight low of 67. Tomorrow will be pretty similar to today with a more chance of showers. We're looking at 60% and still going to be pretty warm, and we will be under a slight risk for severe thunderstorms. Now, a lot of these rains are going to stay in southern Illinois and in Indiana, but we might just be getting the edge of them. And on Sunday, we're still going to see this low pressure hang around, producing a lot of rain this weekend, unfortunately. But looking on Tuesday, happy 4th of July, things will start to lighten up just a little bit.
Thanks, Emily. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Emily Dietz, I'm Haley Hollinger, and stay tuned for the PBS News Hour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime on WOUB.org or follow us on social media. Have a great weekend.
Thanks to viewers like you, we've been able to tell America's stories on this PBS station.
Help us continue to tell these stories now and for future generations by including this station in your charitable plans.
Supporting this PBS station through a charitable gift annuity is easy. To find out more, call the number on your screen.